Okay. Hopefully this is good here. This is a Sullivan Project podcast, and I'm your host Harold Sullivan. And this is number 8, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Check out last podcast. Norman. Oh, sorry, I got my eyes closed. I went blind about a year ago, and I'm so used to I keep my eyes closed a lot here because it's dark, so it's easier to concentrate, especially being empathic and having abilities and all that. Um, like a focus, things can come through with my eyes closed easier. You know, the heater's on. It'll be kicking off though, because it's a little chilly outside. It's warmer today than it has been, but it's still pretty chilly. I got this new camera set up. Finally got it turned down to a different uh, video quality to get more minutes because it was cutting off after a couple minutes and making separate clips. If anybody's ever heard of that, let me know. Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube and TikTok. Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. I had to turn it down to like regular video quality. The camera, my sister helped me set the settings because it was doing like 10-minute clips and cutting off. Not enough that I could try to record here. And I got it set up on the remote control so it's at an angle and everything. I got to do this blind and hit the buttons. So I'm trying to set it up. But yeah, I spoke to Psychic Lisa, so I should be recording the podcast here with her and Misty this week. So that will be good. It'll be up soon, maybe even this week. By the time I upload this, if it's good on the first shot. Last time I had to do audio only because uh, the camera was cutting off after 5-minute clips. So I have no way to put them back together to make a video, and it just takes too much time to do all that. And I have to, my sister helps me. She works, and my brother-in-law helps me, but they don't know about technology and social media and all that. So I'm kind of teaching her blind. I'm blind teaching her Facebook, but we gotta do what we gotta do. You know. So yeah, so I should be on that on the podcast soon, and I'd like to get them on mine. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stream it YouTube. I'll have to record it maybe and then upload it something, but I get it. On We're All Psychic. That's a shout out to them. So I spoke to her and Misty actually recently. Very joyful, both of them. Very good energy. Kind of like Thelma and Louise, if y'all remember that movie. But very good. I mean, it's nice when you find people that you can have an energy, common energy. I'm always about energy. That was the word I couldn't think of earlier when I was speaking to Psychic Lisa. Energy. It's always been hard for me to find like a connection. Like just to me, it's always been about a mental thing. It was never about like a physical thing. So I've always been searching to like stimulate. That's the word. Stimulate my mind or my energy. Just stimulation. It's been hard for me being disabled and now blind. Haven't been able to walk since I was 10, and just I missed out on a lot. So it's hard to be stimulated by things. It's hard to get stimulated. Or you can't do all the things that you get stimulated by. But I made it 43 years. I'm gonna keep going. So and then I got that trailer with Mick Foley from the WWE WWF star superstar. Check that out on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. And everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. That's what this podcast is all about. People getting out their story, or a voice to the voiceless. I once heard people talking. What happened? What have you been through? You know what I mean? Empathy is or sympathy. Empathy is considered a weakness, but it's not. It's the exact opposite. You know, and love is the highest vibration, and fear is the lowest. And let's keep it up. Let's get it up. Keep the vibration up. If the whole planet, the vibration's up, the planet will heal each other better, or it will heal itself better. People will heal better. I mean, we can heal. If we get injured, our body can heal itself. up to a certain extent. And who knows even how much farther, but we're not clean and we're not doing things the right way. I mean, it's unlimited what can happen if you get the right people together, you know. I told Dan, I said, you know what? Um, the people that are considered the freaks, they're the superheroes, and they're the ones that are going to save the world. You know, I told him that. He inspired me, and he still does. You know what I mean? We're not the freaks. We're the heroes. We're the superheroes. We're the true ones. We ain't hiding. We're coming out. You know, we're getting together. We're going to help people. We're going to save the world whether they want it or not. It seems like a lot of people don't want help. They just want to complain and do what they keep doing in a pattern over and over. You know. But let's get on to some stuff. I did check out Morbius, the new movie, this week, and I was disappointed. I mean, even from the trailer, I was like, the first thing I thought of was Morbius doesn't have an accent. He's supposed to, or at least I thought he did, the vampire. In the cartoons, he did. I'm not sure about the comics because he didn't have a voice, you know, but it was just Jared Leto. Anybody could have done that role, I mean. And I just didn't really like the story. I knew what was going to happen 5 minutes into it. I'm sure it had good effects, you know, but I just, so it was probably my least Marvel movie so far, least favorite. And he's one of my favorite characters, but you might like it. That's my review of it. Yeah, it just seemed like it was just they just made the movie, you know. Let's get into a couple other things here from last week. Oh, some voice impressions I didn't do last time. If you want to check them out, uh, actually I did Hidden Towns was the last one. So before that was Norman and the Ghost Seekers. That was number 6. Hidden Towns was 7, I believe. So yeah, Hidden Towns was the last one. Sorry for that error, Norman. Norman, I did his interview. He had passed away years ago, but I went and got a video that's in is Ambridge, Pennsylvania haunted. It's a documentary I did on YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78. But I got Norm's audio from it and played it, so I could, you know, remember Norm, and he's talking about paranormal. So that's at number 6. 7, I did Hidden Talents. I did some voices, so I'm gonna do a couple more. Uh, I used to do Gremlins. This is to show you and to tell you, and so you know I'm really doing them because all I had was the audio last time because the video I couldn't save it. So Gremlins is like real throaty and gravelly, like like that. And you could do all kinds of creepy voices with that. And then we had the Joker, which I mentioned Heath Ledger, but I didn't do the impression, which is very hard. We hear kitties in the background. Shout out to Gandalf, the cat. That's Lisa's cat, Psychic Lisa. If she listens to this, I don't know if she's going to even check out or watch this, I should say. This is a video. Hopefully it works on the first try. But yeah, the Joker, uh, Heath Ledger is like soft spoken, but on the edge all the time, and then his voice goes up and down. And you got to remember, uh, he kind of licks his lips and does like, because he's supposed to have scars, you know, on his face. So he does this whole thing where you got to get into the mannerisms too, move your mouth around a little bit. That adds to the voice, depending on the voice, whoever it is. Some people move things like, or just try to pick up, watch them, study them when you want to mimic. So he's like, uh, why so serious? And he kind of like you have to whisper a little and then drag it out, so he's a little crazy. Why so serious? You know, something like that. And then we got the Jason sound from Friday the 13th. A lot of people confuse it and don't know what the sound is. Or okay, so the story is back in the 80s they had a machine that they were messing with the composer who did the music, the soundtrack, Harry Manfredi, for Friday the 13th. It was an Echoplex or some kind of echo machine, which now you can do with any kind of easy software, uh, audio editing software, free stuff you can use. I use Goldwave. It's free for 30 days. After that, it's like 20 or 30 bucks for a lifetime. But you can do all kinds of stuff with that, mixing and editing. That's a free plug for them. But yeah. So anyway, the sound was at the end of Friday the 13th, where the chase scene and the mother is chasing, and there's a close up of her face, and she goes, "Kill her, mommy, kill her! Don't let her get away! Don't let her get away!" I mean, I know all the quotes. Uh, so there's a close up on Mrs. Voorhees. "Kill her, mommy!" It's her lips. Kill, ma. So what it was the composer went. That's it. The killer ma is the key ma, Kima. People think it's chi chi ha ha, kick him, all these other ones, and they got it printed up on T-shirts too, and it's wrong. But that's not it. You know, it's Kima. So it's and you can do it just like that. Just do the echo. And then later on, in like part 8, they started doing Jason's name. So they would say Jason, and it'd be like, or like an echo. I don't know what that was supposed to represent because he didn't speak. But that's how you do those sounds. And this is called, this episode is called Being a Psychic. So, and this is the Sullivan Project podcast. And I'm Harold Sullivan. And I'm on YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78. TikTok, Harold Sullivan 78. And Facebook, Harold Sullivan period 35. So we got some impressions done. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Grandma's Jason Topher.
Hey Google, delete the first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
And I did find my Google was mixed up. Like I was taking notes before. That's how I take notes because I'm blind now. I tell it to remember stuff, and it was mixing up all the words. So here's some more lyrics or poetry that I wrote one night when I was just channeling something or whatever. And this could go with from last week's episode, or this is just separate writings. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, believing isn't seeing, it's conceiving. Second, the eyes judge, the soul doesn't. Third, scam.
Okay, the eyes judge, the soul doesn't. Okay, believing isn't seeing, it's conceiving. Now, some of the stuff I don't even know what it means, but it means something. So this was coming through to me. Okay, and then scam. I'll tell you guys what happened. Tell you all what happened about this scam here I was dealing with. And actually, a week or so ago, whenever Psychic Lisa did one of them podcasts, she pulled out a couple of tarot cards, and one was talking about deceit and scamming. And I was like, wow, because that's what's going on with me at that time. And then she pulled out another one that said justice. So I got the justice. All right. So what happened was there was a site selling these anklets. I don't even want to tell who it was or whatever. $150 for these copper anklets. It was on the podcast I listened to, which yeah, I don't trust them as much anymore because I even wrote to them and told them the guy scammed me. But he sent me one anklet and not two of them. It was $150 some plus shipping. And then for 4 months, been calling me a liar and all these other things, trying to say that he sent two of them and didn't send one. And then saying he refunded me, and I had to get the BBB involved in the bank. And finally, I got the resolution, and he refunded me. So amen to that one. So that's another catfish story I want to tell you all about, kind of a catfish story. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, believing isn't seeing, it's conceiving.
Hey Google, delete the first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me.
I gotta clean
First,
these up.
the eyes judge, the soul doesn't.
Hey Google, delete the first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told
Sorry,
me.
y'all.
First, scam.
Okay.
Second, me and kids apple pie lemonade stand
that's all
bladder.
old stuff. Okay.
Third, other falls bus accidents crime movies Joker.
Okay. I don't know that other. Okay. All right, that's all stuff for future. So let me get into the psychic stuff now. I mean, hey Google, what time is it?
1:33.
Okay, 15 minutes already. Wow, time goes quick. So let me get into the psychic stuff here and click this off because I think I'm only going to get about 30 minutes on the video, which I was happy hoping with that. But I don't know if it's going to shut off on me again, so this is another practice. But hopefully it'll run. But yeah, since I went blind, I was already empathic and had all the feeling. I was more of a feeling, knowing person before. Now I still have all that, but in the last year and a few months, I'm going to talk about. Sorry, I'm closing my eyes again, concentrating. Some of the weirdest things that have happened, and it's still evolving. Because, like I said, I'm at that knowing phase now. So some of the weirdest things. At first, I was seeing in the dark, waking up in the middle of the night and seeing like a glowing orb or ball leaving from my body area, floating up and disappearing. Uh, it was a different path, like the same path, but it wasn't the same exact movement. It was something there, I could tell. Also, I was having a black thing over me where I wake up and see something black disappear, like back away. I had this weird little square thing with a little light blinking, like a little light blinking up on it, like a I can't explain it, but I saw that once hover above in the middle of the night when I woke up, hovering above me, and it flew away. And then I saw some kind of symbol in the middle of the night once above me. I don't know if it was sacred geometry or what, because I learned about this afterwards. That there's sacred geometry, runes, symbols, all that. But it was something right above me, and then I started dreaming and just having dreams about when I was a child, about how I used to go to places, and I remember. And oh my goodness, I mean, voices, like I was hearing voices, conversations. I'd hear names and words. One time I heard what sounded like I heard blah or something, one word, and when I got up in the morning, I asked Google, I'm thinking of what are you going to say if it's in a different language? One word would be hello. So I asked the Google speaker, and I said, how do I say hello in Arabic? And that sounded like to me that's what it was. So I don't know. And then, I mean, I'm picking up. Oh, and then the animals. Now I can sense animals things. The cat. We had a ferret die because the cat. I don't know. The cat got in the cage or somebody left the cage open, and literally it was dying for 2 hours one day. My brother-in-law, I guess, didn't know what to do, so he picked it up and put it back up in the cage, and I had to listen down here, and I could hear that thing, and I knew it. And there's nothing like if something's dying or hear death screams, you'll never forget it, and you'll know what it is when you hear it. And I guess what could you do? And my sister came home from work and got the ferret, but it was dead. The cat just, you know what I mean. And a week later, the new puppy we had got his head stuck behind the fridge, and he was screaming. And I started like, oh no, not two things in 1 week. I thought he was going to be dead, but I could actually feel him and hear him panicking. And now, like when my sister comes home, he's waiting at the door. I can just sense he's like, oh, mommy's coming. Like he's just giddy. He's giddy. Like I can feel his emotion. I can feel the animals' emotions now too, and people. Oh my, I'm starting to see colors as well, blues, greens. I can see blue on my body sometimes. When I'm talking to certain people, it gets brighter sometimes and darker though. This is neat though. And it's better than being blind and dark. Like I didn't like it. That's for so long it was just dark. Like it's hard just being dark in the dark, and you can't. I'm in a wheelchair and I'm just sitting there. What else? I mean, just so much. The weirdest thing I would probably say is when I woke up one day, it felt like I had lost my fingerprints or something weird with my skin. And if anybody has, what is this? Let me know. Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube and TikTok. Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. It was like my skin felt different on my fingertips, probably everywhere, but I noticed it more there. Like that suction or whatever it is that you can touch stuff and kind of have like a little sticky or substance, like or a suction to it. You can almost pick up like you can pick up papers and certain things. Mine was always really good. Like I could touch my cell phone screen, a real light one, and pick it up with my fingertip, like it was almost like a frog or something. But it's all of a sudden like it feels different now. And of course, I got to handle my food to eat, so I'm like tasting through my fingers, and it's weird. Like I enjoy my food without my eyes. I'm using my fingers to eat too. So I got to do that. I always did have a metal thing where I could taste metal when I was around it, or if people held change, or if I held change, I could taste it. I have a thing with wax too, like holding crayons, I could taste it. Wood, like lead pencils or foil. Certain things, like it's just even if other people were near me and they hold these things, I can taste them. So I always had them odd sensitivities. But one other thing before we go here, one night or one day I was saying, who is this? Am I is this, am I that's giving me these messages? Where am I getting this stuff from? And then in my third eye, which is if you close your eyes, you can see pictures or envision stuff. Uh, OMNUS came right there. I saw it. It was like old lettering, almost like horseshoes, if that makes sense. Omnis, which uh, the only thing I can find out about that is it means God or it means everything. I don't know. But that's why I've come up with God are we, or yeah, God are we are God. So it's everybody, everything is all connected together. So remember, be the light, and love is a choice, and so is to hate.